Hey everyone, welcome back to M&MM IELTS. This is Manmohit. Now in today's video, I am going to discuss everything in detail about this topic, which is listening matching. Now matching, as the name says, you simply have to match few options with the blanks and few options. It could be multiple options, it could be less options, but then you can repeat them. So there's different types of questions for matching in the IELTS exam. So without wasting any further ado, let's dive straight into the topic. Now in IELTS, in the listening module, there's about 6 different question types that can come. Matching is definitely one of them. Now in matching, it's basically of 2 different types. Which I mean by that is there's 2 different types of questions in the matching. First type would be the questions where the options can be used more than once. So more than once, which simply means that there would be less options and more blanks. Let's say there's 3 different options and then there's like 7 different blanks, and you have to use these 3 options again and again until you fill out all the correct answers for this one. And this is how this question looks like in the real exam. Whereas the second type is where the options will not be used more than once. Not be used more than once, which simply means that there would be more options, let's say A, B, C, D, E, and F, and there would be less blanks, let's say 3 or 4. So out of these ones, you just gotta pick the correct answers and put them in the correct spaces. So you might be leaving yourself with couple of these options which do not fit in any of the questions, which do not match with any of the options. And this is how this question looks like in the real exam. Another thing about matching and listening is that the questions that you would be getting in the exam, which would be underneath the options, they are always going to be in sequence, which I consider is a plus point, because at least in that scenario you will not be mucking around and figuring out as to where is the audio right now. You already know that the questions are going one by one in the sequence, so you can pretty much always focus on the question that is right in front of you. One quick tip that I can already give you from this point forward is that even if there's more options, even if there's less options and all that, and let's say after the audio you were not able to figure out which is the correct option, that's perfectly fine, in a way that do not leave the blanks empty. Do not leave the blanks empty, and the reason for that is there is no negative marking, which simply means that even if you get the answer wrong, it will not negatively impact your scores. So always and always put something in place. Obviously your first preference needs to be picking up the correct answer, but if for some reason you miss the audio, just pick up whichever option you feel should be the correct answer, or the closest option you feel should be the correct answer. Put that in and move on. If you get it right, you get marks. If you get it wrong, you lose marks. Very simple. Now, if you have a look right in front of you, this is how the listening question will look like in the real exam. Now, if you see over here, we have got 5 questions. And then if you look at the options down below, we have got 7 different options. Now, this is a type where you will not be repeating the same option, because you've got more options and less blanks. So out of these 7 blanks, you have to pick 5 correct answers, which will go in these places. Now what I'm going to do is I would be playing up the audio for this one. Now for this one, I don't want you to just watch this part. I want you to actually pay attention to the audio and take the notes and write down the answers in your notebook as well, or maybe leave the answers down in the comment section below over here, and then match the answers with me, so that when I explain as to why I got this answer and all that, you guys actually get to know, okay, this is why I made a mistake and this is why I got it correct. So now I'm just gonna play the audio for this one.
Remember that this is a vocational training institute. We train you so that you can take up a particular kind of job. So it is important that you know the main roles of the jobs, what the work is like, and what kind of qualities you need to succeed at them. A physical fitness instructor works in health and fitness centres, preparing individual programs for ordinary members of the public. Physical fitness instructors prepare routines of exercises to suit the individual client's age and level of fitness. Sports administrators run clubs.
So I'm just going to pause the audio for now. We'll go with all the questions one by one. Now here, if you realized, like I said, the options and the audio is definitely going to be in the sequence. So when they started speaking about the lecture, they first introduced physical fitness instructor. Most likely they are not going to paraphrase these kind of things because it's hardly 2 words, so they don't want to confuse you that much. So I can see physical fitness instructor. Now in the audio, they did start to speak about that they did train and provide guidance for ordinary people. So the moment in the health and fitness kind of thing. Now the moment they said these words, ordinary individuals, now I'm not just going to mark that answer and then move on, but if you just understand the complete context of the audio, they did say that they do provide a bit of information and help for ordinary kind of individuals. Also in the audio, they did mention something about preparing individual programs for ordinary members of the public. So ordinary members are just simply going to be ordinary individuals, which is the same thing. It says guidance, and in the audio they did say preparing individual programs for ordinary members, which simply means that it is going to be for the guidance of ordinary individuals. Let's play the audio further and let's do the second one now.
To suit the individual client's age and level of fitness. Sports administrators run clubs and sporting associations. Their duties include such things as booking playing fields with local councils and organising the schedule of games or events for the club. So they need good organisational skills. Sports psycho.
I hope you would have got this one correct. Now, if I just talk about the transcript, they simply mentioned about organizing different matches. And if you would have understood, if you just want to rewind that, you would see that their duties include things like booking the playing fields, and then so booking playing fields means venues, obviously arranging the venues, and then they also said about organizing the schedule of the games, which means arranging matches, games, one and the same thing. So the entire option matches, so my correct answer has to be F. Let's play the third option.
Psychologists spend time with professional athletes, helping them approach competition with a positive mental attitude to enable them to achieve their personal best. They do this by improving motivation and concentration, or assisting with stress management. Physical education.
Now, I hope by now you would have understood that they play all the options in a sequence. Yes, you have to be extra careful and attentive while listening to them, because if you miss one, you may end up missing more than one question. But then if you realize every single question is coming in sequence. For this one, the answer is going to be F. F for the previous one, it is going to be B, which is the support of elite athletes. Because in the audio, in the transcript, they simply mentioned about helping the professional athletes. Now, professional athletes means elite athletes. Professional, elite, synonyms of each other. The meaning of the entire sentence is exactly the same thing. So here, for my third question, B option is going to be the correct one. Let's play the fourth one.
Education, or PE teachers, instruct young students in how to exercise, play sport, and do other recreational activities correctly and safely. PE teachers help the development of coordination, balance, posture, and flexibility, with things like simple catching and throwing skills. They're not expected to be experts in all sports, but must be able to show students the basic techniques involved in a wide range of activities.
So, physical education teacher, and they also called them as PE teacher, which is basically the same thing. Now, they did say that they help with an overall general health of the students, of the children, like the coordination, balance, posture, flexibility, these kind of things. They're not expected to be experts. So I sometimes also do take a bit of notes, but then prefer not focusing on writing too much, just focus on the information, just so that you can have a bit of an understanding. Okay, this option sounds like a better one. Now, they did say they are not there for some sort of expert training and all that for the students, for the children, just some general help in different variety of things for the children, which simply means the rounded development of children. So overall development of a children, basic general things. And let's do the last one now. So for this one, the correct answer would be G.
Recreation officers often find themselves working for local government authorities and local groups. Their aim is to raise people's awareness of healthy lifestyles and improve general fitness through arranging recreational activities for groups of all ages, from the very young to the elderly. There are many other job opportunities which our graduates can look forward to. If you're interested in any of these, then I suggest...
All right. Now I'll give you a few seconds just to determine the correct answer for this one. Now, obviously, like I said, you cannot use the same option twice. So this is what I always do. Even in the exam, I know I've already used C, F, B, and G. C, F, B, and G. I know these four options definitely can't be my correct answers. So it has to be either A, D, or E. Now, recreation officer, the coaching of teams, community health, the treatment of injuries. Definitely E option is out of the picture because they did not mention anything about injuries. Left is the coaching of teams or community health. If you think about it, they spoke about local government, groups of all ages, organizing recreational activities for groups of all ages. That has nothing to do with coaching of teams. They were talking about general people, local people, which simply means community. Community means group of people. Health. So if you would have realized, they did use a lot of synonyms for different words. So having a good knowledge of synonyms is definitely going to help you in this particular task. Because if you realize, instead of groups, they have used the word community, which is one and the same thing. And that is why my correct answer for the last question is going to be D. Now let's do this question, which is basically less options and then more questions. So if you see, they have already given us the task. Reading the question is very important. That's another tip. People lose marks in the exam because they do not read the question properly. Whenever you are given few seconds at the beginning of a section to read something, let's say 30 seconds or a minute, always and always make sure you read as many questions as you can, not the options, not the answers, because that's you're anyways not going to remember everything in 30 seconds. So read the questions. That is my another tip, because if you read the question well, you at least know what you're looking for. You have more chance of getting correct answers. Here you can see that there are 3 different options, A, B, and C, and then 5 questions. So 3 options will fit in my 5 questions. Options are individual children, 5 or 6 children, whole class. Now, if I read the question, it says, according to the speakers, in which situation are the following media most useful?
We're really getting somewhere with this essay now. So let's move on to when each type of medium could be used. I guess we could start by trying to identify the best situation for each type of media. What do you mean? I'm talking about whether each medium should be used with different size groups. For example, we could look at pictures and ask whether they're more useful for an individual child, a few children together, or a full class. In this case, I'd say pictures are best with individual children because they give them an opportunity to let their imaginations run wild. Yep.
So if you would have noticed, when they started with these kind of questions, they gave us an example. Like, for example, picture, it's best suited with the individuals. Now, this has nothing to do with the questions that you're about to do because that was just an example. It's good to know that information, but that is not which is going to help you to get your band score. So that was just an example, but now let's start with all the questions one by one. So now we are looking for tapes.
Yes, I see.
Let's take tapes next. Although tapes look ideal for individual children, I feel they're best suited to small group work. This way children don't feel isolated because they can get help from their friends. Computers are the same.
These are called traps. Even Mohit explained about that in the previous video. If you haven't watched that, do watch that one as well after this. So although it's a negative connector, he did say, let's talk about tapes. Although it is best suited for the individuals, but I think it is best suited with a small group of individuals. So individual children, if people just look by the words, they would have just gone with individual children, but that's not the case. He said that it is best suited for small group of people. So individual is a wrong option for this. Whole class, he did not say whole, he said small group, which is going to be 5 or 6 children, small group. So answer for 26 would be B. Let's do the next one, computers. Again, the questions would be in sequence.
I think they're better with small numbers of children, and they're hardly ever useful with a whole class. Videos.
Now, for computers, they said it is again best suited with few people. And he did say that he highly doubts it can be used with the whole class. He highly doubts. That means whole class cannot be the correct answer. He did not mention about individual children here. Again, he mentioned about few. That means the correct answer is going to be 5 or 6 children, which is B option. Next is videos.
However, are ideal for use with everyone present in the class, especially when children have individual.
So as you could see, they said it's more ideal with when everyone is present. That means whole class. So correct answer would be C.
Activity sheets to help them focus their minds on what's in the video.
And what about books? What would you recommend for them? Books are ideal for children to use by themselves. I know they're used with groups in schools, but I wouldn't recommend it. Other pictorial media like map.
So if you would have noticed, she said it's best suited with students who use them themselves, but she would not recommend it to few children or a whole class. So my correct answer here is going to be individual children because she said the word themselves.
Maps, though, are different. I'd always plan group work around those. Give the children a chance to interact and to share ideas.
I agree. Teachers often just leave maps on the wall for children to look at when they have some free time. But kids really enjoy using them for problem solving.
Yes. Different people have different ideas, I suppose.
Yeah, and different teachers recommend different tools for different age groups.
Now, if we talk about maps, she clearly said that the pictorial media like maps and all that are, it's different with everyone, but I would always plan group work around those. Right? So we are talking about their recommendations. And she literally said that I would plan group work around those. Now, group work definitely can't be individual. Whole class means the complete class. That again can't be the correct answer. Group work simply means 5 or 6 children, or could be any number of children, but few group. So my correct answer here is going to be B. So like I said, always and always read the question in the time that is given to you, because that would be a game changer for you. If you read the question, you at least know what you're looking for. Another thing you have to worry about is synonyms. Whenever you see any of the English words out there, if you know that word, try to remember at least couple of the synonyms of the same word, because you never know what sort of words you would end up getting. They don't paraphrase, but they always try to use a different word to the one that they would be speaking in the audio. So the better your knowledge of synonyms is, the better your this topic will become. And not just this topic, many other topics in the listening module. So this is how the matching works in listening. If you have any sort of questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And also do consider subscribing so that whenever the new videos are up, which are pretty much every single week, you guys would be the first ones to be getting notified about them. With that, I'm done with this video. Take care, stay safe wherever you are, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one.